All right, ladies and gentlemen, so much to talk about. Hour number 2 of the Steve Malzberg Show. Thank you for being aboard. And in this hour, we are going to speak to the widow of Chris Kyle, the American sniper. She will be here in studio with us, an exclusive interview with her. So don't miss that. That's coming up in this hour. Also, Michele Bachmann will be here, hopefully momentarily. But first, I want to touch on something. It's local to New York, but it has national implications here. First of all, the disgraceful, disgusting, despicable Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York City, who will do everything he can to take us back to the bad old days in this city. And it's very symptomatic and emblematic of, you know, how the left wants cities around the country to be. This mayor who alienated the police force in this city by saying that he's afraid that his black son would be shot and attacked by the police, that he worries about that every day, if you recall that during the Eric Gardner situation. We had the death of Officer Brian Moore yesterday. He was shot in the face on Sunday, and he died yesterday, 25 years old, a 5-year veteran. And this mayor was not at the hospital at the death announcement of the officer. He was not there. Now, he's making excuses. The police commissioner interjected and stuck up for him at a press conference, took the pressure off him, said, I told him not to be there, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I don't care what your police commissioner tells you. You're the mayor. You are the mayor of the city of New York. Where the hell are you when announcing the passing, the death, the murder of one of your police officers? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If a cop had to shoot a protester and that protester died, this guy would have been there with bells on. With bells on. But he wasn't there for the announcement that police officer Brian Moore died of the wounds he suffered at the hands of a thug. Yes, Soledad O'Brien, I said thug. Disgusting. All right, now, one other thing, and it's out of New York, but again, it's coming to a locale near you. I have a story in my hands here. The FDNY, the fire department here in New York City, they need women. Why do they need women? Because there's not enough women on the force. That's right. We have quotas now. We have federal oversight. We need a certain amount of blacks. We need a certain amount of women. Doesn't matter if they could drag you out of a window during a fire. That doesn't matter. We just have to make sure we have enough women. And so I want to tell you a little story here. A female recruit who has failed the physical test, required to be a fireman in New York City. She's a fireman in New York City. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? So if you're living or working in New York City, and God forbid, your building's on fire, and you need a strong person to climb up and get you out, I hope and pray you don't get this woman. Her name is here somewhere. I'll find it. Rebecca Wax. Rebecca Wax, 33 years old, graduated from the fire academy without passing the functional skills training test. So if you get Rebecca Wax climbing up the ladder, if you're involved in a fire in New York City, you might as well jump, because she ain't going to be able to carry out the window. All right, now we join Michele Bachmann, or she joins us, former U.S. Congresswoman, of course, former member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, and a former Republican presidential candidate. Hello, Michele Bachmann.
It is so great to speak with you this afternoon. Thanks so much for your patience.
No, I always love having you on, and I know you're doing well in your life after Congress. But let me ask you about what's going on. We have so much to talk about. First of all, I want you to hear a bite from Bill Clinton's interview on NBC talking about defending the Clinton Foundation with typical Clinton speak, but here's part of it.
I don't think there's anything sinister in trying to get wealthy people and countries that are seriously involved in development to spend their money wisely in a way that helps poor people and lifts them up. I don't think there's anything bad with that. I think it's good. There has been a very deliberate attempt to take the foundation down. And there is almost no new fact that's known now that wasn't known when she ran for president the first time.
All right. So it's a vast right-wing conspiracy is what he's saying, and there's no new facts now from when Hillary ran the first time. She was Secretary of State for 4 years, and they took contributions from countries.
Yes, this is the most transparent family in the United States, right? The woman who won't hand over her server, who wasn't supposed to do her government work on that server in the first place, who violated department rules, in all likelihood probably violated U.S. federal rules, which has criminal penalties, and also prohibits her from running from office again. And then she decided on her own how many tens of thousands of emails she would delete. So we know that from her past history as Secretary of State, columnists, longtime hard-boiled columnists in D.C., called Mrs. Clinton a congenital serial liar. So in all likelihood, she hasn't changed her stripes. But this Clinton Foundation, which is in effect an international money laundering ring to benefit the Clintons personally, remember this is tax exempt, so it is the easiest way to get big dollars into Clinton world, where they literally fly around the world on private jets and live the life of potentates. It's really a heady lifestyle to be used to as a president of the United States, flying around in Air Force One. They really don't like to give up that lifestyle. What's the best way to continue that lifestyle? Start an international foundation and get people to give you big money. But they use poor people as human shields for their pompous lifestyle. Because as one example that was just given in Mark Stein's recent column, he said, here you have a Saudi donation of $1 million. Out of $1 million, 64,000 goes to the intended poor people. 64,000. 936,000 of the million, 936,000 goes into the coffers of the Clinton Foundation as a processing fee, overhead. No charity with even a straight face would attempt to say that they're doing charitable work. This is the biggest charity of the Clinton Foundation are the Clintons. That's what this is about. Yep. But what's even worse is that it looks like they're buying favors. And when the Clintons themselves facilitated putting 1/5 of America's uranium supply in the hands of the Russian government, now that impacts us. Now that impacts our national security. That alone, in my opinion, disqualifies her from being commander-in-chief, let alone Benghazi, let alone everything
Congresswoman,
else.
The latest Wall Street Journal NBC News poll shows 25% of Americans find her honest and trustworthy. I mean, that is severely underwater.
I'm surprised it's that high. Amazing.
Do you have confidence that if she were to be the nominee of the Democratic Party, that the Republicans can beat her?
Well, of course we can beat her. I think she is the best candidate of all to run against, and I think that not all, but virtually all of our candidates would be able to defeat her, especially if they're willing to defend the American dream. If our side will go out and lay out the case for the American dream, which I believe virtually any of them can, we really have a great crop of candidates. If they are very bold, that they can do it.
What do you think of Carly Fiorina? The criticism, of course, is that she hasn't served in government and that she could be Romney'd because she was a CEO.
Well, all of them will be criticized. Let's face it. MSNBC will be on the tail of any of our candidates. And she has an exemplary life story. I've met her personally several times. I'm proud of the fact that our party has, at this point, 2 Latinos, an African-American, and a woman that we're running to be a nominee for our ticket. So we're a very inclusive party. I'm very proud of them. And again, her story shows that she's a woman of success. She knows how to succeed, coming from nowhere, and she did it on her own. And I think she has a powerful story to tell, and I'm looking forward to hearing more from her.
All right. Congresswoman, we'll do it again soon. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thanks
Thank
again.
you.
Bye-bye.
The widow of Chris Kyle, American sniper hero, is next. Don't go away.
Sarah leads a global conference call from the comfort of her bed. Tom's toll-free number and professional greeting make his home office sound like a Fortune 500 company. Jeremy routes his business calls to coworkers so he can see his son's championship game. Every day, people just like you save time, money, and improve their lives by using eVoice to answer, route, and manage their business calls. What will you do with eVoice today? Go to eVoice.com and use promo code FREE60 for a 60-day free trial.
Hi, I'm Ty Pennington. You know, to build your dream home, you need tools. And the most important tool of all